Okay, so this is the entrance to my turning room. I've got a bit of stock here, just kept out of the way behind this handrail. And then as we get down to the bottom on the left here, a few bits and pieces. So what we got? This is a box of billiard balls, pool balls for a project, and I've got a whole load of pen turning kits and stuff, rags, finishes, make my own finishes, wax, there's a video on that, and there's wax stock, canned air, wax sticks that I've made, pen blanks ready, bits and pieces, things and stuff. And then underneath is my timber storage, which is just blanks, either partially prepared or basically just scraps. I like to keep tiny little scraps, they come in handy for stuff. What have you got there? I've got some Padook, a bit of Zebrano, some Wengi, a load of exotic pen blanks, all sorts of things in there, from teak and lignum, bloodwood, purple heart, there's all sorts of crazy things on there. And then I use all these offcuts of planks as shelves, just on like some metal brackets. So some English hornbeam, as that is. Got some Banksia nuts, which I bought as a birthday present for myself years ago, and still haven't got around to doing. I think originally I bought some proper prepared turning blanks. That's walnut. There's a bit of ebony, and then just basically stuff offcuts of all sorts of things. And I do like to mark them up because I do forget what things are, and if I'm not sure, they could be all sorts. Trees. Some of the stuff is from a tree that I might have processed or got as a log. Or bits of flooring, you know, all sorts of stuff basically. I see it, I grab it, might come in handy. And then there's some really big stuff under here, some old oak fence posts and some big sycamore blanks and all sorts of stuff. And then right at the bottom I've got my planer, which very rarely comes out, it's very rarely used. But then we go into the actual room, and you can see that is the floor space. It is about 4 foot square. So straight away, here is, wrong way, here's a rack I built just to keep my turning tools. It's all out of bits of MDF and stuff that I had left over from whatever. An old tool pouch, and behind that some finishes, a few tins of paint, wax, stuff just to keep it out of the way. And this serves to keep a lot of the shavings out of there. My new awl I made, you might have seen the video on that. This is really handy. It's machinist's rawhide and copper mallet. So it's good for tonking in drive centres and stuff without damaging things. Some tiles from an old something, I don't know. And then I've got my lathe. I bought that brand new because I wanted to get into turning. It's about 5 years old now. It's very similar to the Jets and what are the other makes? Axminster, I think, have got one very similar. And it's just a small 12-inch bed that you can extend, but obviously I can't because there's a wall there and a wall there, so I'm pretty limited. And I put it in this space because it fits basically. I built this bench to fit. I've got this screen on here which hides my bowl blanks that are prepared in all sorts of things. An old box which I found at the side of the road, just got Allen keys and stuff in it, and then there's a vacuum cleaner under there that I use to hoover up. And then these, I think these came from IKEA when I was a student about 15 years ago, and I put some dividers in myself, and I just keep abrasives and pens, pencils, and then arbors for things, chuck keys and spare stuff. And then the other one's got abrasive discs, pads, more pencils, and then drill bits and random things. Little gizmo for centering up a faceplate, and that all gets hidden away behind this screen, which helps keep all the shavings which fall off at my feet out of there, and just makes things a bit easier to clean up. Everything's powered down here, so I've got 2 lights which are mounted above, and then obviously the hoover and the lathe itself plugged in that I can switch on and off independently, although I have to switch them off when they're not in use. Face shield, I love this face shield, it's awesome. I'm always wearing this in my turning videos that you see, and my camera mounts there, so you always see that view, which is why I tend to knock it with my head at times. But because this is such a small space, I got this because I didn't want anything basically flying off in my face, because I haven't got the room to duck out of the way. And then above, I made this out of some melamine chipboard that I had. Can't remember where that came from now, but it's really cheap stuff, and I just cut it up and made all these little cubby holes. So I've got a long shelf on there for parts and more wax sticks, finishes, abrasives. Up here I've got kind of the food safe stuff, and then paper towels, plastic coating. I love this plastic coating. It's really, really good for things that are going to be handled a lot, like handles and letter opener ends and stuff like that. It's really, really hard wearing, but it contains formaldehyde. It contains formaldehyde, so it's a complete nightmare to work with in terms of health. Methylated spirits and turpentine for mixing up my waxes and my shellac finishes. Some more lacquer. There's one of the overhead lights, and then some more wax, shellac finish, some sanding sealer. There we go. And then right at the top, stuff that doesn't get used quite so often: spare apron, spare light bulbs, hearing protection that clip on to the mask. They clip on in these little slots. So if I'm doing anything noisy, if I want to go somewhere else and use this for another purpose, I can do that. Some more blanks, honing compound, abrasives, and some syringes for when I'm mixing up this plastic coating stuff. So although it's very small, it's very well organised, and I don't do that much turning, so I don't need that much stuff really compared to the big turners. And that's this room, my prized possession. Laney, where does it say? Not on that end. I don't know if you can see it on there, but that's a Laney Shaughnessy made mallet, and it does get used, although not very often. You can see it's got a couple of dinks in it where it's been tonked about. There's another one in it now. So that's the turning room, nice and quick and nice and short. So yeah, my phone's going off in my pocket, but tiny little space. So it's a tiny little space, but it works for me. It's really all I need for making the little projects that I whittle around with. So that's probably somewhere you've never seen before. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you back here for another video very soon, and I'll leave some links to other videos that you might like to watch as well. We'll see you later.